My wife cheated on me with her boss while I was working in another city. My name is Mark. I'm 43 years old, and for the past 2 years I've been living and working in Chicago. My wife, Gil, who is 39, and our 9-year-old son stayed behind in our hometown of Houston. Before the pandemic, life was simple. I ran a small auto repair workshop with a friend, while Gil worked as an executive at a local company. We didn't earn much, but it was enough. We lived in a house I inherited from my family. My parents retired early and moved to their farm in the countryside, where they lived a quiet life surrounded by nature. Every couple of weeks, my father would load his truck with dairy products, fruits, vegetables, and potatoes from the farm and send them to us. That alone saved us a lot of money. Life was stable, peaceful. Then COVID hit. Everything collapsed. The roads were empty. People were selling their cars because they couldn't pay their mortgages. Our workshop suffered the same fate. We had to shut it down permanently and cancel the lease because we couldn't afford rent anymore. Gil's company also closed, and she lost her job. Our only lifeline was the food my parents sent from the farm. We had some savings, but they were disappearing much faster than we expected. Government aid and community food programs helped families like ours survive. When things slowly began reopening, I tried to find work. Restarting the workshop wasn't possible. Most garages had closed for good, and the few still operating weren't hiring. Business was slow, and owners were running everything themselves. Gil faced the same situation. After months of searching, neither of us could find stable work in Houston. Eventually, a distant cousin told me about an opening at his workplace in Chicago, a job at an automobile manufacturing plant. The salary was good. We were running out of savings. I had no real choice. I took the job. The company provided housing and meals. I was allowed 15 days of leave every 6 months to visit my family. The first year was hard, but emotionally, Gil and I were close. We talked every day. She encouraged me to work harder so we could eventually live together in Chicago. I lived in company dorms. Bringing my family wasn't an option, yet Chicago was expensive, and the factory was outside the city. Still, we believed it was temporary. After long workdays, talking to Gil was the only thing that kept me going. Things started changing after my last visit home about 6 or 7 months ago. Gil had found a new job at a startup. At first, everything seemed normal except she was less available. Before, she was a stay-at-home mom and always had time to talk. Now she was busy, which made sense. But something felt off. When I visited during my vacation, she was glued to her phone. She was careful with her words, less open than before. I felt distance I couldn't explain. Earlier, she had complained about her boss, the CEO. The startup was run by young, arrogant graduates who treated employees poorly. Gil couldn't handle it and quit after a few months, sending a long email about the toxic work environment. Then her CEO called her back, promised to change, and begged her to return. Many employees were leaving, and the company needed her. Her income mattered to us, so she went back. She told me things improved. Her boss was suddenly respectful and polite. I believed her. 3 months ago, Gil told me her CEO was attending a 5-day investor summit in Dublin and wanted her to come along. At first, she refused because she couldn't leave our son alone. Then her boss offered to pay for our son to come with them, fully covered by the company. It sounded insane to me, but I don't understand corporate culture. I left the decision to Gil. She said it was important for her career. I'll admit it, I felt uncomfortable, but I stayed quiet. She called me regularly during the trip. I video called my son every day. He was excited. It was his first time leaving Houston. Over time, I relaxed. After they returned, nothing seemed obviously wrong. Last month, I went home without telling her the exact date. I wanted to surprise her. When she opened the door, she looked shocked, not happy. She tried to act excited, but I could feel it. Something was wrong. She guarded her phone constantly. And when it came to intimacy, it was different. Usually, we couldn't keep our hands off each other after months apart. This time, she was hesitant, distant, almost afraid. I confronted her. She said nothing was wrong. That night, I checked her phone. I'm not proud of it, but I found nothing. No messages. No suspicious calls. Nothing with her boss. I even asked my son casual questions about Dublin. Nothing unusual. I returned to Chicago trying to convince myself everything was fine. Then Gil told me she was going on another work trip 2 days in Florida. This time without our son. He would stay with her parents. Only her and the CEO again. My gut screamed that something was wrong. I asked who else was going. She said no one. I asked myself if I was overthinking. Update 1. After my post, many men in long-distance marriages told me to give her the benefit of the doubt. I did. She went on more trips: Amsterdam, Seattle, but never Chicago. A month ago, I received a major promotion with a big raise. I was ecstatic. I called Gil immediately. Her reaction wasn't happiness. Why? Because it meant they could finally move to Chicago. She resisted. Said she expected her own promotion and couldn't leave now. Her salary was a quarter of mine. She could easily find a similar job here. Still, she refused. Then she changed her reasoning: our son's school, his soccer training. Later, suddenly, she changed her mind and said she wanted to move. That's when my suspicion deepened. Update 2. After moving to Chicago, everything seemed perfect at first. Then I overheard her crying on the phone one night, begging someone to take her back. I confronted her. She confessed everything. She had slept with her boss for the first time in Dublin after celebrating a successful investment deal. They were drunk. It happened. Then it kept happening. Every business trip. Even at the office with doors locked and cameras off. She didn't want to leave her job because of him. When she finally told him she wanted to move with me, he panicked and told her it meant nothing, it was just sex. She quit, expecting him to beg her to stay. He didn't. She was just entertainment to him. Final update. We divorced. I had a prenup. She got nothing. My son lives with her in Houston. I pay child support. She lost her job. Her boss gave her a terrible reference. Sometimes she sends voice messages saying I ruined her life. I listen, and I feel nothing. I don't love her anymore. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe.